Hey people, and welcome to your weekly horoscope. Thanks for joining me. This one is for Monday the 3rd of October, going through until Sunday the 9th of October 2022. I'm going to go through each day of this week to see what the planets are doing, what relationships they form with one another. And the point of these weekly horoscopes is to try and understand those relationships and what energy the planets create amongst themselves, because that will then influence us. And if we're aware of what's coming, that's the thinking behind this anyway, then we're able to tap into the good stuff and maximize the positives and avoid some of the pitfalls. So starting with, well, actually, before I start with Monday the 3rd, this whole week looks super, super productive. I'm really excited about this week because you're a bit of a machine here. If there's anything that you haven't been able to resolve or sort out lately, put it on your to-do list this week. It will be done very quickly and very easily, surprisingly easily. Yeah. Okay, so Monday the 3rd of October, we've got the moon in Capricorn. That forms a conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. So the moon in Capricorn in itself is a bit of a slave driver anyway. It just encourages you to work, and to keep pushing. So if you push yourself too much, make sure you insert some self-care into this. But it's a positive influence if you find it difficult to get motivated. The Capricorn moon will really kind of whip you into gear here. It conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn, so it's saying, please be productive and work to affect change in your life. It's actually very hopeful. It trines Uranus in Taurus, so that expands that even more and says, do you know what? If you work at something and if you make a big effort, you can not just change this situation, but you can change everything. So your faith in your own work is really strong. The Capricorn moon also trines Mercury in Virgo. And Mercury is the communication planet. It's gone direct. It was in retrograde in September. Now that it's direct, things are going to make sense. Things will work the way you expect them to most of the time. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to get more done. It allows you to act without having to research every little thing to make sure you haven't missed something. So the momentum really picks up here and everything is in Earth. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, all of those are Earth signs and they're very focused on being diligent, if I can say it, diligent and being responsible and working hard and affecting change for the greater good. So anything that needs doing, again, all the earth signs are on your side saying go, go, go. The moon then sextiles Neptune in Pisces, so your imagination and your intuition is on board. Squares Chiron in Aries, what am I going to get out of this? And it quincunxes Mars in Gemini, so you're able to communicate with other people very nicely. You're able to see the bigger picture. You're focused on the outcome rather than the journey. You're results oriented, and you're able to problem solve and get your point across really nicely. You're ambitious to move forward. That's really the undercurrent of the whole week. This desire to be productive and to have something to show for yourself almost. So with all of that said, Monday, you're going to feel energized and ready to go. Mercury is direct. So, when the planet is in retrograde, excuse me, I always mention that that's a great time to reevaluate and to see things in your life differently and to change your perspective around. That is useful and great and all very well. But when Mercury is direct, then it's about implementing those ideas and going back to those new perspectives and saying, okay, this is still true. How do I want to now go about adapting that or changing it or whatever it may be? It's about springing back into action. The time for analysis and sitting back and reflecting is kind of over and it's time to get moving. So everything is saying, the train is rolling out the station, get on it. Okay, so with Mars and Gemini also on Monday, you're able to connect well with others. So you can have fun team working or socializing or anything where friends or colleagues or family even are involved. Tuesday, the 4th of October, we've got the moon going into Aquarius at 12:20 in the afternoon. So that's nice because that adds an element of the bigger picture to all this earth energy. It's kind of like ideas and what makes sense and what are we really aiming for here? What's it all mean? The Aquarius moon, so what's it all mean then often creates Aquarians who are inventors and philosophers and who ask the big questions and who go away from the physical, normal, everyday stuff and kind of launch themselves into the realms of the imagination and academic and scientific. The Aquarius moon also trines Venus and the Sun in Libra. So now we've got all air. Libra is air, so is Aquarius. And it sextiles Jupiter in Aries. So this is a big shift now. We're going from Earth into air and fire. Those are both masculine elements. It says go, go, go. But it's not about be diligent and work hard. It says, what are your ideas and what can you do for yourself and what's enjoyable? What can you build? What experience do you want to have? So the earthy stuff still kind of influences you, but it's elevated now to the next level. And your hard work is connected to creativity and insights and inspirations. So any of the work that you do based on those things is going to be super valuable. So not only are you a worker, you're also a strategist working on exactly the right things at the right time. So with all of that said, all this courage, all these masculine elements in the chart on Tuesday, if you need to make a big life change or a big life event has just happened, and now the future like looms before you, you know, like this vast unwritten book that's scary, it is time to make a big decision. Because if you ever have to push yourself or accept that you're going to have to learn something new or do things differently, Tuesday will be the day where you're willing to make that shift, to say, okay, yes, it's time for something else. It's really, that kind of energy doesn't come along very often, you know. It's really life-changing. It's those kind of days where you sit back 20 years later and you look back and you're like, wow, on that Wednesday, I made the decision to move country and look at what's happened since. So Tuesday the 4th, I think, is really important. Wednesday the 5th then of October, we've got the Aquarius moon forming a conjunction with Saturn in Aquarius. So we're in the realm of the air gods here. Aquarius now is focused on the greater wisdom of other people, what's already out there, research, understanding. It squares Uranus and Taurus, so it's pushing to make things happen and for things to move ahead through your ideas and through your insights. So it's not focused on ambition or drive or glory or it's really, this makes sense, therefore it needs to be done. It's very dry and logical and reasonable and responsible. Think of, again, an inventor. So the Aquarius moon then also trines the Sun in Libra and Mars in Gemini, air. Sextiles Chiron in Aries, fire, and quincunxes Mercury in Virgo. Mercury, the communication planet, in research mode in Virgo. So all of those influences mean that problem solving is heightened. You have amazing ideas on Wednesday. If you've been trying to work out some sort of mathematical or scientific problem and the answers escaped you, look at it again today. It will, things that haven't made sense, that have been overly complicated in the past, will make sense on Wednesday. And that is because your ability to analyze and to assess is really, really heightened on Wednesday. Anything also to do with organization, structure, or work will seem easy and even fun on this day. And you can, out of all of the days so far, I think Wednesday is the day where you can get the most done, the most quality work, the most complex problems. And it seems like a challenge, it seems enjoyable. Thursday the 6th of October, we've got the moon still in Aquarius. So it's in Aquarius for 3 days here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's what's responsible for all this high quality work. On Thursday, the moon then quincunxes Mercury in Virgo. So that's a research scientist here. So if something doesn't make sense and you wanted to, look at it again on Thursday. The moon goes into Pisces at 2:47 in the afternoon, and that really softens things now. Pisces is much more about your feelings, the bigger picture, and it's that kind of state you're in when you've already lived your life and you look back and you say, well, you know, the last 80, 100 years, everything has worked out the way it was meant to. It's very well to have that attitude in hindsight when you're no longer in it, but when you're in it, having that philosophical que sera, sera attitude, it can be helpful in accepting things that are outside of your control, but it can also be a major problem if you're meant to jump in and intervene and you've kind of resigned yourself to give up. You know what I mean? So all of this learning and all of this hard work, it doesn't seem as urgent now with the moon moving into Pisces. You're kind of hearing the angels sing a little bit more. The Pisces moon then quincunxes Venus in Libra, so you're creative. So this is like now the day where productivity spills over into the realm of the creatives, and anyone who paints or writes or does anything governed by water is able to really be productive too. Mercury in Virgo trines Pluto in Capricorn, and that's urging you to look at your life, to dissect it with a fine, to really at the most microscopic level, and to say, you have the power to change anything that doesn't suit you. Make sure you do that. So that's interesting, because if you feel the obligation to make major changes in your life, a lot of people find that overwhelming and then turn their back on it, or procrastinate, or use substances to tune out. And some people may try and shift that pressure by becoming strangely fascinated with some sort of new topic that seems to hold all the answers or all the solutions to their own problems. The interesting thing about Thursday is if you do become obsessive about something someone has said, or a new way of doing things you've discovered. Like when I was in therapy, I was always looking at the latest things, like, what's the next thing that comes out? The reason I'm saying that is on Thursday, if something like that appears, it's appearing for a reason. You can trust it, and that information is actually going to help you on your journey. Friday the 7th of October, we've got the moon now still in Pisces, and it conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. So the waves are just crashing in. Neptune is the water planet of dreams and intuition. It's in the sign that it rules, Pisces, a water sign. And then the moon, the thing that you feel, which in itself is water, feeling, is in Pisces. So your feelings are amplified, your intuition is amplified, your dreams will guide you, you'll have visions for the future. It squares Mars in Gemini, so a nice way to let off some steam with all these ideas is to express yourself creatively. Sextiles Uranus in Taurus, or to effect major change in your life to continue working. And quincunxes the Sun in Libra and Venus in Libra. That desire to affect change, I think, is much less on Friday. I think finding balance and reflection in other people, that's more important. It feels more important. It can be very useful to be in a group of people and to speak up and to say something and to gauge the reaction. It kind of puts a mirror up to where you are. It can be much more helpful than doing everything by yourself. So Friday is mirror day as far as I can tell. The Sun in Libra opposes Chiron in Aries. Okay, so you're putting your own progress for the first time this week really on hold for the sake of looking around and enjoying the good stuff around you, other people, reflecting on all the hard work you've done. So Friday the 7th of October, healing, relaxation and connection with others, all of those things become vitally important to you. If you rarely make plans with others, try and break that habit and organize a gathering, a dinner or any type of event. If there's any day to kind of reward yourself, it's Friday, because you kind of deserve a good time. The astrology makes it possible for you to have a really good time. And you have been super productive all week and you have got a lot done. So Friday looks like the perfect opportunity to have a bit of a party and to enjoy yourself. Saturday the 8th, we've got the Pisces moon opposing Mercury in Virgo. So those are a little bit at odds. The Pisces moon is all about the ethereal and what could be and fantasy and what's next. Mercury in Virgo only wants facts and figures, and it wants to know the lab results now. So they're at odds. So it's like, should I continue to be practical or enjoy like this dream state almost? The moon conjuncts Neptune in Pisces, so that overpowers the moon a bit. Sextiles Pluto in Capricorn, which is Team Virgo. Team Mercury in Virgo. The moon then enters Aries at 5:57 in the afternoon, and that overpowers all of these. It's just like, it doesn't matter if we're thinking, dreaming, analyzing, researching. The only thing that matters is progress and moving forward. So be quiet, everybody. The Aries moon then conjuncts Jupiter in Aries. So it's taking that motivational drive and that energy to move ahead and injecting some steroids into it. Let's go. Pluto goes direct. Pluto is in Capricorn, right? Pluto is the planet of transformation and change, death and rebirth. It rules the sign Scorpio, and it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It exists in two states at the same time, the firebird and a pile of ash. Pluto is amazing because it's death and rebirth. It's very much beginning and ending. And that's also what we're experiencing in terms of the moon here, because it's been in Pisces, and then it goes into Aries in the afternoon on Saturday. So it's 12th house, end of the chart wheel, end of the life experience, and it's rebirth. It's the beginning of life. So with Pluto going direct on that day until the 1st of May 2023, the transformation planet kind of re-enters the real world, and a lot of the changes that you've been thinking of making, or things that have prompted you internally, change this job, move house, move house. You know, those things tend to keep coming in until you actually do it. If you've got any plans like that, with Pluto going direct until May, that will help you in any of those areas. Because it likes to change from firebird to pile of ash, and again, and vice versa, and around and around and around. The thing about all this Aries and opposition between reason and dreams and fantasy is that you may be a little bit overconfident on Saturday. I'm getting a bit of a bull in a china shop vibe. And even if you've made a mistake, like even if you have put your foot in it, the thing with Jupiter in Aries and the moon in Aries, the thing that I really strongly got is a weird tendency, and it doesn't mean you have this tendency usually, but it appears on Saturday. Even if you've clearly been in the wrong, you're going to try and double down and deny everything and avoid taking any accountability or responsibility on Saturday. Odd. Ultimately, partially, the reason for that is moving ahead is really important to you. So anything that holds you up or something you're not going to be into. But tidying mistakes up along the way as you go on any journey, that's just as important as making progress. If you don't want those errors and mistakes to catch up to you later on and halt your progress further along the line. So it's important to kind of take a breath on Saturday and to have a little bit of patience and to look around you and to make sure you're not rushing it. Yeah. Energy and motivation won't be a problem on Saturday. Finally, on Sunday, the 9th of October, we have the full moon in Aries at 10:55 in the evening, and that's based on European time, so it'll be earlier if you're in North or South America. Yeah, it'll be like dinner time. So the full moon is when the moon reaches its 28-day cycle completion point. It has this sense of achievement, and we really feel a lot of the energy of the sign that it's in. It's in Aries, this premier fire sign, which is cardinal, which is the boss, which is pioneering, and it's interested in overcoming obstacles and making progress. That takes all this energy and just it turns it into a big bonfire on Sunday. So the whole thing just reaches a crescendo. The Aries moon opposes Venus and the sun in Libra, so the importance flips a bit. You're not so interested in parties and other people the way you were on Friday. You're focused on making progress again. Conjuncts Chiron in Aries, and it sextiles Saturn in Aquarius. So you're more interested in working with other people now. So it's not about let's all show up at the pool party and swim and laugh our heads off. It's much more about let's sit down and get the agenda going and see who's going to be responsible for what and how we're going to get things done. So Sunday it's really all systems go, and the productivity that's been building all week, you find this giant release of that during the full moon. So something is really able to be resolved, or you feel a sense of accomplishment. If you have any extra energy, use that on Sunday in whatever way feels most exciting to you. Exercise, spend time with others. Ultimately, just enjoy a guilt-free Sunday. If ever you've earned some time to just enjoy yourself and to let your hair down, it's Sunday, the 9th of October. You've been working like a fiend, which is great. So if you're worried about whether you'll get everything done this week that you wanted to, you will. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with this week. If you would like a personal reading with me, I can have a look at your natal chart. So what I need for that is I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where you send me 10 or more life events, and then I look at those and I manually work out your time of birth on that day. Once I have all that info, I can draw up your birth chart, which is like a wheel, a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born. And it shows me your life purpose, your default setting, where you're striving towards becoming, family, relationships, career, institutions and your relationships to those institutions, education, travel, hopes and dreams, spirituality, the relationship you have with yourself, money, anything at all really, what's coming up in future. If it's around your birthday, a solar return chart is amazing. That's a chart I draw up specifically based on where you are on your birthday, and it shows me the year ahead for you. And that's always interesting to look at, as well as the progress chart and the transit, and the astrocartography, which show me what is likely to show up in future and which locations work best for you. So if you're interested in any of that, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing week, and I will see you for the daily tarot readings that I do on the channel. And I'll also make a video on the full moon in Aries that's coming up on the 9th of October. So watch this space. Have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you next week. All the best.